Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps Daily Teachings. Before we start, just a quick disclaimer. Anything we discuss is just for educational purpose. Nothing is financial advice. All right, guys. It's been an insane market. A lot of things happening in the market. Car squeeze, CPU names running, AI super cycle, AI stocks hot. So a lot of things going on in the market. Definitely, there are a lot of opportunities. Earnings season has started on a big momentum. So let's discuss that today. We're going to talk about the big car short. And then we'll talk about how you can trade earning setups, how to find those hot themes, some gap and grab setups, repeatable setups. We'll talk about them so you guys can also learn, and we recap all the timestamp trades from our community. So before we start, just a quick introduction. Anybody new to our community, new to our X accounts, new to our YouTube, or new to just following us or following me. So we trade a repeatable system called Ripster EMA Cloud System, which includes the indicators that I created, but also my teachings, my psychological teachings, my risk teachings on swing trades, day trades, investing based upon my system that I have been teaching for over 8-9 years, and free education that I've been providing that has changed a lot of lives. You can go on ripstereducation.com and see how the lives have been impacted and people have found financial success using all those my teachings. We use all the concepts in our community as well. Tanner Trade Group, one of the largest online trading community. Now trading and investing community, as we just launched our investing platform as well, where we trade this. Thousands of traders trade live there. I'm on the live screen. I'm on the live voice first few hours of the market open. We have a lot of tools there: option flow scanners, stock scanners, breaking news alerts, holds, unholds, order flow. Tools worth $500-600, which are freely available to the traders. Thousands of traders are on our trading floor. So every day in the community, we make a pre-market plan, because any success you want to have in the market, you have to have a plan. Any day trade you want to do, you have to have a plan in the pre-market. So pre-market planning, that was our pre-market planning this morning. We had our news plays, we had our earning plays, and we had our Mag 7 plays. So support and resistance is given in the pre-market. The MTF's cloud is also marked. The initial bias, initial game plan is given. So my traders can take that and learn the system and trade themselves without any dependency on anyone. We also provide the levels for SPY QQQs and the Mag 7s. We provide crypto list in the pre-market. We provide those levels. We also trade futures. We provide the future levels that can be used to trade with the Ripster Cloud system. Repeatable rule-based system. We also trade low floats. We trade IPOs. And we also have something called our day 2 day 3 strategy, which is a pretty nice strategy especially for the stocks which especially for the stocks which had a big move yesterday, and we watched those names, finding the opportunities in the market for those names. So there's a lot to discuss today, but we're going to focus on the few trades that we took and the main trades, and we'll go from there. So anyways, let's start a recap. So I did a recap on how we traded the long. You can watch that recap, how we traded, how I was the first one, initial traders to, to share the idea that this can squeeze like it squeezed before, like it went multi-bagger before, history repeated. So you can watch it. Now I'm just going to focus on, when we talk about the short setup. The short setup, what I want to talk about here is that I discussed as well. Before this move, I discussed that once the Ripster 1 hour MTF cloud breaks, you will see the downtrend. So look at that generational wealth you could make with this one concept, which I have been teaching, I have been talking about as well. Let me show you here. I also discussed in the recaps, but you can see that we've been watching this 1 hour MTF cloud, which is a 50 EMA on 1 hour chart. I've been talking about that. I told the traders that once the 50 EMA breaks down, that's when the trend will change. Right, so I've been talking about all that car. You could see my previous tweets on car there. And what happened yesterday was when I saw this breaking down right here. I mean, we were already short from this 512 cloud break. But once, let's see here. So once I saw that, it's a heavy, my traders were already short. Yesterday I gave the first target of 520, second target I gave 500, and I told the traders do not cut. If we break 500, we are going much lower. Next target I gave 450, 420, and then I also gave the target, 420. We hit that target. That was yesterday, right? So yesterday was a day one short, for us. And you could see that how it, the daily chart as well, what kind of candle it made. And it doesn't mean that it's done, right? So it's not done. That was a day one setup. Although a lot of traders were already swinging it. So now comes our day two setup. We were ready for that. I just want to show you that, the beauty of a car is you don't really need to size too much. A lot of my traders were swinging 500 puts from yesterday, which went from like, they were literally like $20 went to like $200, right? So your $2,000 became 20 grand, right? Your $1,000 became $10,000. Your $10,000, became almost 100,000. So you just had to hold with the Ripster cloud. So that there were so many trades there. So let's take a look here how we did it today. So pre-market planning was simple. 400 psych, bearish bias to short under 400. Okay, only long if it breaks a 428. So as soon as it breaks 400, no question asked. That's it. You short it. Day to short it. You could buy the puts. If you were trading today, you could buy a 300 put or 250 put. You could buy that. It's up to you how you want to trade that. So this put was literally $2 yesterday. So $2,000, and it went to 548, like five grand, 50 grand of that. That's how kind of it. It's really literally a life-changing trade, but you have to be ready for it, right? So I told my traders short versus short versus 400, stops over 405. First target I gave 360, next target I gave 280. I told hold. Once we broke this Ripster MTF cloud, I told we are in the MTF magnet. You do not need to cut. You hold till the MTF magnet. As we moved lower, I told the traders that next target is 200. We did not really hit the 200, but we hit 215, almost closed there. You could close it here, or you could close later end of the day, right? So that was like 2 days. We will be watching it tomorrow what it does, but I also tweeted about it as a day too short, Ripster MTF cloud. The key here is the power of the Ripster MTF cloud. You could see that how this MTF clouds were breaking there. That's a magnet. Those are 20, 21, 50, 55 MTF cloud. Nobody used these EMAs for day trading. I invented this concept and literally changed everything. You could see like yesterday we were short there. Everybody was short on car. You see that this is the MTF break. I told everybody, here comes the MTF test. Look at it. It's always been bouncing here. So we don't really need to find the top. Guys, that's what I teach. Literally, you could short shares. I mean, people have made generational wealth, kind of, some traders. But even if you had $10 shares short, 50 shares short, doesn't really matter, right? A $10 share short, is giving you, 110, even a 10 shares short, you're making $1,000, right? So you literally with a 10 shares short as well, you could make 2, 3, 4 grand there as well. So you don't have to make that crazy amount of wealth, but the key is the range, right? So you could see the pre-market guidance for psychological level, and 400 psychological level using the Ripster cloud. No need to cover. Once your Ripster cloud is holding, you just follow. My traders in the community literally killed the car. So proud of them. Literally killed the car. Navy did amazing trade on car. He's doing 60% of his gains. All day guidance by the traders in the community. 300% by Fahad. Just insane trade on car. Love how the traders are executing it. Beautiful trade by the community there. So make sure you watch both the longs, and you see this Romeo's puts went from 24 to 230. So make sure you watch the recap. We longed it all the way every day, and then we shorted it. No other system comes close to Ripster cloud system, and especially the Ripster MTF cloud system. All right, next we're going to talk about a few of the earning plays. Let's see. There was a lot of earnings today. I usually highlight any earnings I like. I usually highlight them. Usually highlight them as a earning setup. So we can look at, we look at Tesla in the end. Let's look here. at my first play, TXN Instruments. TXN Instruments, 265 resistance, 258 support, bullish bias versus 3450 as long as 256 hold. The reason I was bullish on TXN was even on the last earnings it ran. You see that how much it ran in the last earnings? It went crazy on the last earnings. So that's why as soon as I saw it breaking out here, I told the traders that TXN is long. You take a long right away. And the targets I gave was 278 and 280. I gave the targets away in the morning. By middle of the day, we hit our target of 278. We hit our target of 280. We also hit 284. So even if you add a 266 here, your risk is like, you know, $4. You are making all. So you need to see the daily chart, how bullish the daily chart is. Daily chart is trading over all-time highs. It ran same last time. It did up, down, up, down, up, down consolidation in the pre-market. Becomes an A+ long setup as well as an A+, you know, swing setup. These kind of setups sometimes run for days, so we'll be watching it tomorrow as well. So that was our TXN long. You could see there timestamp guidance. Let's go to the next one. All right, so let's look at the next one. Next one, we're going to talk about MBLY. So let's see what was our plan on MBLY. So MBLY, we had as our earning play. Again, I highlighted as a red. So I highlighted it as a red. As soon as I saw that MBLY, let's look at what was the plan on the pre-market on MBLY. The plan on pre-market was pretty simple. Watch the gap and crap if 9 does not hold. Simple. You trade the puts, you trade it short, whatever you want to do. So as soon as I see this rejection, I told the traders gap and crap it, put the stops at 9.10. So you short at 9, you know, you go 842s, you know, $2,000 short, you're risking $200, right? You're making more than $1,000. You know, you could cover here because it's bouncing from 3450 is always our first target. This is on the gap and crap. You know, sometimes we get a full gap and crap. You know, you could also see that it was a Fibonacci 50% retracement. So you got to cover that. So we're risking 10 cents. We're making 60 cents. It's like one risk to 6 times the reward. If you risk 1,000, you make, you know, 5 grand. If you risk 100, you make 500. That's kind of trade you want to do. It did give another short here, right? The 512 fade into the next Fibonacci level. So always use these gap and crap setups. You know, it's a different, you see that TXN never gap and crap because TXN bounced from 3450 cloud. That makes it an A+ earning setup, and whereas MBLY was a gap and crap because it was not close to 3450, broke the 512s, went all the way to the 3450. All right, so next one we're going to look at is QS. The QS was another gap and crap setup. You know, gap and crap setups are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful setups. I love these setups. So inline EPS, long over 10 or 9, bullish bias. Had a bullish bias. But as soon as I saw this red candle, I said, no go. Under 9, crap it. Short, watch 9. So as soon as 9 break, you can short it. You could even short it right in the 512s. And we hit our 8 target first. Same concept. You can draw your Fibonacci. Fibonacci is here. 0.5 Fibonacci, 0.6 Fibonacci, MTF magnet target, the lower MTF target. So you short 1,000 shares. Your risk is 300. You know, by end of the day, yeah, you're making like $1,000 till the 8, and then you're making another like you know, 500 shares there. So it depends how much you want to short it. Even if you want puts on it, let's see how the puts were doing. You know, good for small account plays. So puts, let's look at 8 puts. 8 puts went from 10 cents to 75 cents. You could literally make $300-400 on that short. Just a beautiful trade, right? No hindsight. Gap and crap. Cover into 8, cover on the way, gap and crap winner, MTF magnets, beautiful setup, QS. So next one, I'll look at IBM. So IBM was a quick short in the morning. So let's look at here IBM. So IBM, if I go to the initial time frame, as soon as I see the weakness, I told the traders to short versus 235. So you short it, you see the 931, you short it, go to 228. You know, 225, I gave the target. We hit the 225. You cover some here. Next target was 223.60. We hit there. So within a 10 minutes, it faded almost $10. So this is called the morning trades, and you got to be fast. Further you short, more is your risk. So you got to cover that setup. quickly, and as soon as it gets, if you have some runners left, as soon as it gets back over that 512 cloud, you get out, close your short completely. You could re-short here on 3450 as well, and this is called gap down and fade short. It's a different setup than the gap and crab setup. All right, so let's look at next one here. Next one, let's look at here is MEDP. So MEDP, so this stock, I mean, it's a low float. It beat its earning. Earning was good. Fundamentally, everything was good. Growth was good. They just reported yeah, they just book to bill lower. What is book to bill? Book to bill means for every one revenue they make, recognize, they only signed 0.88 cents. So for the future revenue, right? And the president, I think, resigned. So a lot of that news, it was gapping down, huge, right? 500 from there. So the reason, we were not fully bearish bias there because it did not break the pre-market lows. Right, and also when it did not break the pre-market lows and there was a support here, so I told the traders, do not short it. I had initially a call bias on this as well. We had a call bias here on MEDP. Watch out over 425 calls, but it actually pulled back before I made the plan. It actually pulled back before that, so it pulled back right into 372s, and when it did not break the pre-market lows right here, so that told me there's a buyer there. So I told the traders C minus long, right? So you risk that confirmed long of 400. It did from the C minus, curled over 393, it did push all over the way to 406. You could make over $24 per share profits on that trade, and you could exit the 512. Now, if you're swing trading, then you have to use this lows here. We'll see what tomorrow does. Really wanted to push over the 400 for the confirmed long side. There's a big gap above there to fill. If it pulls back, I would love to see it hold today's lows or the daily lows. So it will be interesting tomorrow what it does. All right, let's look at next one. We're going to look at ARM and AMD. ARM. This morning, I posted an article for our Tanner Research member. I also tweeted it out as well. So let's take a look here. So, I think I'm a little late on this, but when yesterday I saw that AMD and ARM were ripping, so I did some due diligence. Also, I did have an idea. So the reason they were going was because the bottleneck. AI, there's a memory bottleneck, you need more memory. There's a photonics, you need photonics for AI because AI is growing so fast. Agentic AI is not just a chat where you ask and it answers. It does the stuff for you. It goes to the internet, it browses, it deploys, it collects, it does a lot of stuff, agentic AI. So it's not just GPU dependent, there's a lot of stuff are dependent on CPU. So CPU is supposed to be the next bottleneck. So that's why I put it on my watch list. I sent the detailed research note in morning to our Tenet Research member, investing platform members. I talked about the AMD. I talked about Intel. The catalyst that Intel has, and on that you can read this article. It's on my Twitter. And even though these stocks ran a lot, but it was still not late today, right? If you read my article today, it was still pretty good here. ARM also, and then there's AMKR. So it went through all this, why it was strong. So that's why this pre-market planning, I put all these names. We put Intel on our long setup, long over 1 hour MTF. We added ARM, day 2 setups, bullish bias over yesterday highs, AMD, 300 psychological long setup. So both of them right away were long. ARM was a light away along here over yesterday highs. The traders took a long there, took it all the way to 210. ARM was 200 psychological long. I just showed you the pre-market game plan. And AMD was also 300 psychological long from 300 to 310 before it kind of flushed with the market. But that being said, AMD just went crazy after that. After hours, we were trading INTC. Let's take a look here. So we were trading INTC, I got a 73 entry, made a really good profit there after hour because INTC earning was good. And also because what we were looking at the CPU bottleneck is showing me the revenue is increasing, the EPS increasing, they just need to increase their margins. So such a good confidence booster there to take a big position and trade it. So that's why AMD, ARM, Intel, those were our top plays. That's why I had it on my watch list in the pre-market plan. That's why I had a plan to long them. Was just a beautiful trade. You just need to, you just need to stay on top of it. If you like this kind of research, come join our community. Next one, we're going to look at AXP. AXP was one of our earning trade. I didn't really guide it, but I just want to show you that how accurately it worked. AXP, American Express always moves very nicely on the earnings. So AXP, I told the traders short pops, bearish buys versus MTF. You see this MTF breaking down? That's your short. MTF to the MTF. This is called MTF magnet setup. Another cheat code setup, MTF to the MTF to the next MTF. You could literally short. You short 100 shares, risk $200. You could take it all the way to 314. That's the power of the Ripster Cloud's MTF magnet setups. Now let's look at next one is we're going to look at now. So now was, software is already killed and now is going back to the recent lows. So now was a confirmed short once it rejected this pre-market lows. You see that. And the guidance I gave in the pre-market planning was call over 9150, no go under pre-market lows or the support given. The support was that I gave was 8950, 8850. So once it breaks 8850, there's no long. There's a short. Rejected from 8950, you see that? There's a short. This is the where you short it, 10 a.m. short confirmed earlier. You take it down, pop, short, take it down. You could easily ride the puts all day long with the 512 Ripster Clouds under the pre-market lows. We just had so many plays. We literally didn't have to do anything there. All right, so let's look at the next one here. So next one we're going to look at is AAOI. AAOI was another MTF short today. You see that there was an MTF short and then it was a curl here for the 512s. Another MTF magnet. MTF magnet setup from MTF to the MTF. Look at this 2021 MTF. Right from this MTF all the way to the lower MTF. So yeah, AAOI, and it was on our game plan. It was not just like it was top second game plan, short under 145. And you could short it all the way from that, or you could short this rejection and take it all the way down here. All right, so let's end the recaps with Tesla. We did get a little bit of scalp on Tesla, nothing too crazy. So Tesla in the morning had a pre-market plan on Tesla, bearish bias as long as under 380, no go under pre-market lows. So you see that it kind of curled. So we took a curl versus 374, 380. It broke 380, we moved the stops to 376, we moved the stops to 378, and it pushed to the MTFs, almost filled the gap, rejection, we got out here. Just a scalp first 10 minutes, then nothing to do there. It was a chop range. It was, today's indecision day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. So that's how you do the earning trades, guys. Hopefully you had great day as well. Market is hot. Keep learning. Make sure to check out our new platform, Tanner Research. A lot of ideas there. If you are an investor or swing trader, make sure you check it out. Thank you.